All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into just one chapter of The Kite Runner. But man, what a chapter. It's a raw look at a journey from absolute rock bottom to, well, to the very first fragile glimmer of hope. So the chapter just drops us right in the middle of it with this line. They won't let me in. No context, no warm-up, boom. You're immediately in this frantic hospital hallway in a total crisis. A kid's life is on the line, and our main character, Amir, he's stuck on the outside, completely helpless.
So, this leads us to our first part, a desperate prayer. With those doors slammed shut, all Amir has left is his own terror and crushing guilt. And as his nephew Sohab is in there fighting for his life, Amir just breaks. He's pushed to a point of total surrender.
I mean, just think about this for a second. 15 years. For 15 years, this guy hasn't prayed. He doesn't even remember the words. But right here, right now, on this dirty hospital floor, with total strangers all around him, none of that matters. He grabs a bed sheet, anything to use as a prayer rug, and just starts begging. He knows he's got to make a deal with a God he's basically ignored for a decade and a half.
And this is where everything flips. He says, I see now that Baba was wrong, there is a God. See, his dad was this total non-believer. But in this moment of just absolute desperation, Amir throws all that out the window. He finds faith, not in some beautiful mosque, but right there in the faces of all the other desperate people in that hallway. It's a huge, huge moment for him.
And you can just feel his panic here. This isn't some calm, thoughtful prayer. No way. This is a frantic negotiation. He's just rattling off promises. I will do zakat. I will do namaz. I will fast. He's literally turning the core tenets of his religion into a contract. He's saying, okay, God, you do this for me, and I'll do all this for you. He's willing to promise absolutely anything.
Okay, so he's made his plea. Now what? Well, that brings us to the next part, the long wait. The prayer is out there, but now he's slammed back into the cold, hard reality of the hospital. And this awful, agonizing wait.
5 hours. For 5 long hours, he's just stuck, trapped in this horrible waiting game. He's half asleep on the floor, replaying these terrible memories in his head. You know that feeling when time just seems to stop? That's where he is. Every single minute feels like a lifetime.
And you really see these two different worlds crashing into each other here. On one side, you've got the doctor, right? He's giving the clinical facts, lost a great deal of blood. Twice, they had to revive him. But on the other side, in Amir's head, he's still making his deal with God, worrying, how will I tell Soraya? It's like he's not even hearing the medical report. He's just stuck in his own desperate prayer.
And then, after all of that waiting, all of that praying, the doctor just says it. 3 words. He is alive. And just like that, all that tension that's been building and building and building, it just shatters. The worst is over. Sohrab made it.
But here's the thing. Saving someone's body isn't the same as saving their spirit. Which brings us to this next part. A wall of silence. The medical emergency is over, yeah, but a whole new problem is just beginning. This deep, unbreakable silence.
Sohrab is just gone. He's lying in his bed, pale, empty. He won't eat. Amir tries to read to him, but gets nothing. And this goes on. Even when they get back to America, he's just a ghost in the house. He's physically there, but he's not really there. He's just completely shut down.
And when he finally does speak, this is what he says. I want my old life back. It's just gut-wrenching, isn't it? He wants the one thing that's impossible. He wants his parents, his home, a life that was stolen from him. And Amir knows he can't give it to him. They're just stuck.
You know, the book makes this really powerful point about what's happening to him. It's not just quiet. It says quiet is turning down the volume. Silence is pushing the off button. And that's exactly it. Sohrab hasn't just turned down the volume on life, he's switched it off completely. He's retreating from a world that's been nothing but pain.
So nearly a whole year goes by like this, a year of this heavy, crushing silence. And then we get to our next section, a fleeting smile. They're at a park for an Afghan New Year's party, and something finally changes.
And what changes it? Kites. A few of them appear in the sky. Now, for Amir, kites are complicated. They represent his childhood, his bond with Sohrab's dad, Hassan. But they also represent his biggest failure. And when he sees them, he decides he's got to try one more time. So he gets a kite and he tells Sohrab, I'm going to show you one of your father's favorite tricks, the old lift and dive. And as he says it, for the first time in forever, he sees something, just a tiny flicker in Sohrab's eyes.
It's not a smile, not yet, but it's something. It's a sign that maybe, just maybe, he's still in there.
And this move, the lift and dive, it's not just a fancy trick. This is a legacy. It's a series of precise movements that Sohrab's father Hassan was a master of. So when Amir does this, he's not just playing a game. He's reaching back into the past, trying to connect with Sohrab through this shared piece of his father.
And then it happens. He cuts the other kite. He looks down at Sohrab, and he sees it. A smile, lopsided, hardly there, but there. I mean, goosebumps, right? After an entire year of nothing, this tiny, tiny expression is everything. It's a massive, monumental shift.
Okay, but let's be real. This one little smile isn't going to magically fix everything. And that's the whole point of this final section. The first flake melts. This isn't the happy ending. It's the very, very beginning of one.
So Amir asks him, "Do you want me to run that kite for you?" And he thinks he sees Sohrab nod. And that tiny gesture, that maybe nod, that's the permission slip he's been desperately waiting for. It's the first time he can finally do something for Sohrab with his blessing.
And then he says it, the words that echo through this entire story. For you, 1,000 times over. Chills. These are the exact same words Sohrab's father, Hassan, said to Amir all those years ago. And now Amir is saying them to Hassan's son. It's the story coming full circle. It's his chance to finally make things right.
And really, this is what it's all about. This is the big idea of the chapter. Healing isn't some big, dramatic moment. It's not a lightning bolt. It's slow. It's one tiny thing at a time. That little smile, it was just the first snowflake melting after a long, hard winter. And in that one little flake, you can find a world of hope.
And the book leaves us with this question, this thought that really sticks with you. People want to know if there was a happy ending, but is there ever really the end in life? The story kind of shrugs at the idea of a neat little bow on everything. It just goes on. And maybe that's the real point. Maybe the win isn't some perfect happy ending. Maybe the win is just getting to see that first snowflake melt.